There are no teeth. There's only jagged remnants of teeth. But when I don't have my glasses on and I look at my image there in the mirror, you barely even you can tell, but you don't see the sunken in part right here. Usually, if you've known somebody, especially if it was your grandpa that didn't like to wear his teeth when you grew up, you recognize a certain look. It's like a person with Down syndrome. You can see somebody that has Down syndrome, and you can see somebody else that has Down syndrome, and they can be a different race, a different, a different everything, different gender, and you can see that look. You can tell, oh, that's a person with Down syndrome, even if you don't understand what Down syndrome is. And that's kind of what it's like with people missing their front teeth or people who don't want to wear their upper teeth or their lower teeth for that matter. It creates a look, and when I see somebody who has no front teeth for one reason or another, especially if it's somebody who doesn't have front teeth just because they don't feel like wearing them and they don't care what they look like. When I see somebody like that, it looks like my grandpa. Right now, it looks like my grandpa. It could be a female, and it looks like my grandpa to me, but I don't have that look. I know darn well if I shaved this off, I would have that look that looks like my grandpa, the look that a person has when they're missing their front teeth. But I don't have that look, not with this beard. I think I look good. That's crazy, but I do. I think I look good. And that's not what this is about, but I do look pretty good. Look at my eyes. It depends on the light. Right now, they're a silvery blue, almost I don't know, a metallic blue. My mom, when I was a young boy, at least, always told me my eyes were hazel. They weren't blue. She told me, "Your eyes aren't blue, Mike. They're hazel." Hazel? What's hazel about these? Nothing's hazel. And if I go out in the sunlight, then they change color a little bit. I have amazing eyes. When I see them on camera, I see them with different lighting. It's fun. It's fun for an old guy like me who thought he had hazel eyes. I've got blue eyes, baby. Blue eyes. And they change color depending on the light and my mood and what medicines I'm on. Yeah. Okay, here's why I want to make this live no longer than 10 minutes. I'm going to make a rule with myself because even though I don't have my glasses on, I can see there's people down there. I can't see who it is. I see little crowns and numbers. Maybe they're trying to give me money. I doubt it. They probably spent money to get the little blue crowns so they can send me the little blue crowns, which are completely worthless to me. If you're gonna spend money to send me a badge or an icon, fuck it, just send oops. Oh, well, this is my last broadcast, and the very worst thing that will happen to me for accidentally cussing is the algorithm will blur it. Yeah, the algorithm will blur it. It's been known to happen by me anyways. I've said inappropriate things, and all of a sudden, when I look at it after it's all been, said and done, processed or whatever, the thing I remembered saying is just garbled. I love the algorithm. Yeah. And I think it's different. I think there's the algorithm, different variations, different models. None of that matters. I want to tell you, first I want to do, this is my very last broadcast in the garage. You know, I love living here. I love my landlord in a way, I'm a homosexual and she's a heterosexual. So it's how do we say, what's that Lady Gaga song? My Way, it's Frank Sinatra. My Life. I can't remember the name of the song. Born This Way. That's what I was born this way. I can't help it. I can only help how I deal with what was given to me by God. That's my free choice. I get to do that. I get to do that. And I only probably did about half of what God hoped I would do. That could send me to hell. I don't fucking care. I cussed again. Dang. but I don't care. I just don't care. I just wanna be a good person. I love Jesus, and I think Jesus loves me. I don't care about the rest. I just don't. I was in Des Moines, Washington. I can't say the name of the venue. My goodness, I can't because I don't know what the hell was going heck. The place was either a viper's nest of illegal activity, which I didn't I never thought it was in the beginning, and I still don't think that's what it is, but the alternatives are worse. At one point, I was basically accused of being a pedophile. I hope you can say that word. Geez, I've said F-U-C-K at least 2 times, maybe 3. Now I've said the P word. I don't know. But yeah, that's how I was treated at this place. And I was invited to it by a person who seems like a nice person still. The lady, what happened to me? And this lady that gave me a free pass for a video game place, she probably had nothing to do with these people. She was probably just trying to attract people to her gig. And I seemed like a cool guy to her. Or at least she knew people who knew me from years ago. And so she gave me a free pass for this place. And I thought she was telling me they wanted me for a gig. I thought it was a job. And I thought it was okay, I'm down to almost 7 minutes. I thought it was a job. I thought I found a karaoke gig that was during the day. It's hard to have a karaoke it's hard for a venue to do a karaoke show if they don't sell alcohol. It's almost impossible. There's a couple of business models that would work in my mind. If you were a small restaurant, for example, a small restaurant, and you didn't even sell alcohol, you could do a karaoke show, an all ages karaoke show, even if you wanted. You just have to have enough room. These people in Des Moines, they barely had any room at all. Their sound system was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. I went in there and I actually offered the guy a pair of speakers. The asshole that called me a pedophile, when I first walked in, I saw he had nothing. He had almost no setup. He had some old DJ gear and some speakers. And they weren't even sound reinforcement speakers. They were probably home speakers, very nice home speakers. But it was a tiny little area they were putting the sound in. Okay, I'm down to 8 minutes. I'm going to have to condense this. I was basically I was kicked off the property of a place that I was in a job interview. The karaoke host, she liked me. It was obvious. I could tell that she liked the fact that I was so good because I was somebody she invited down there. That probably makes her look good. It would if I was a karaoke host, that's what I would do. I would go to friendly bars, and if I saw people who I thought would be cool down in my show, I would invite them down. I'd give them a free pass. That's what I would do, and that's probably what this woman did. But she's working with some crazy ass people, and they're either a sting operation or they're at first I thought I was caught up in a sting, but they don't put people in stings unless they already figure there's a chance that that person is some sort of guilty person, and that's not what this was. I'm pretty clearly not what they were trying to take me as. Geez, anybody that looked at my YouTube channel, it's clear that I am not what they were trying to take me as. Okay, now it's almost at 10 minutes. At one point, I had 3 Des Moines police cars strategically placed around me and at least 7 Des Moines police officers, at least 7. And they were strategically placed. I mean, there was a couple up close, there was one to the left, one to the right, one behind me probably, and then a few more peppered around. Yeah, and it only took them about 10 minutes to show up, and they were ready they came in hot. They came in hot, and, and then and I stood around and I didn't yell at them at people. I wasn't afraid because I knew I was innocent of anything, and I knew they wouldn't take me to jail unless they were corrupt, and I didn't think that was gonna be the case, you know, you may have, it's not supposed to be fun to get in trouble for doing something wrong. If you're a dang maniac walking down the street terrorizing people, you deserve to be slapped to the ground and cuffed. And if that's all you get, you're lucky. All right? Those police were kind to me. They were kind to me as soon as they figured out that I wasn't a danger. And then they just made damn sure I would never come back there. They probably saw me and they said, "This poor man, we got to scare the shit out of him so he never comes back there." And so they did a little bit of that. And then they let me go. They just let me go. They told me never come back, ever. And I told them, "Oh, I never, ever will come back to this hell hole." And the last thing one of the police said to me after I handed them my wallet, I just handed it to them. I told them they could search my car. They said, I told them there was marijuana in my car. They said they didn't care. They weren't there for that. They were there because I was a big, scary man. And somebody called them and told them I was out of control. That's why they were there. I was dressed up really cool with a purple kind of matching shorts and casual shirt, purple and black with a real cool pattern. I thought I looked, and then I was wearing hiking boots. And I looked really good, especially for an all ages gig. As long as I kept smiling, because children are afraid of me if I don't smile at them. Yeah, that's the story. They let me go. They effing let me go. And I just woke up. I haven't even looked at myself in the mirror. I haven't, my mouth is all dry. I got coffee stains all over my tongue, and I literally just woke up. And being the YouTube prostitute that I am, I decided to do a YouTube live. And I wasn't going to talk about that incident, but I think I talked about it without getting myself in any problems. The police, the authorities aren't going to have any problem with this video. And I left up the good review to that venue. So as long as I leave up the good review, they'll probably leave me alone. And I don't have no reason to take it down. It was a good review. It's how I felt at the moment. I might put a warning up. I might do a follow-up review saying something like, "I'm sorry, I was wrong about this place. Do not go there, especially if you have children." I might do something like that. But otherwise, I'm going to leave them alone if they leave me alone. And never be afraid to have the police come for you. And if you're a criminal, and even then, they're going to treat you nicely. The police will treat you nicely as long as you cooperate. That's all it takes. You just got to cooperate and learn how to say yes, sir, and shut your mouth. And if you deserve to go to jail and get locked up, that's what will happen. And if you don't deserve to go to jail and get locked up, it won't happen. You just got to be respectful and try not to engage in a whole bunch of criminal activity. That helps.